There. I don't know what was happening. It was like my ear pods wouldn't connect. Anyway, I'm going to make another video here, even though I want to say something. I'm just a guy. I'm not a YouTuber. I don't like the music that plays during YouTube videos. I don't like all the glitzy uh, photography, especially when things are jumping around. I don't like it when I'm listening to a YouTube person talk, basically do a podcast, while words are printed underneath that are saying something completely different, and while listening to music in the background. I don't do this for entertainment, and I don't think anybody else should either. These are serious topics that need to be not just discussed, but studied. So I'm going back on about flat Earth and gravity. Gravity doesn't exist. That's how I started this, by posting that um, quote by Winship. At any rate, this is again for Alan, uh, my buddy Al, who was my roommate in college. So here we go. So here's what we're taught. We're taught that the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and it's 24,000 miles in circumference, and that's how we come up with a 24-hour day. Spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Now that's really fast, and you don't feel it at all. You feel no motion at all. In addition to that, the Earth is traveling around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Yeah, 666. In addition to that, the tilt of the Earth, it tilts on its axis at the 23.4, I believe it is, degrees, which is 666 off of 90 degrees. So you can't make this stuff up. That's really what we're doing. We're traveling at 66,600 miles an hour. The Earth is at tilt is comes out to 66.6. There's more 666. It's all over the place. Anyway, let's go on so this video doesn't go too long. So we don't feel any motion at all, and that's because of the magical power of gravity holding us to the Earth, and not just holding us to the Earth, but the gravity is able to hold the atmosphere, holds our atmosphere in, and it spins right along with the Earth, so you don't notice it. You can't tell that it's moving because the atmosphere is moving with it. Now, I think that was the old version, was that gravity was holding the atmosphere down. Now it's just the friction of the Earth spinning pulls the uh, atmosphere around with it. Somehow it manages to do that at any altitude. The entire altitude of the atmosphere travels at the same speed. Uh, that's what we're taught. In addition to that, the Earth is wobbling on its axis, and that's slow. It's like every 12 to 16,000 years or something like that. It makes a rotation. So maybe we should notice that. But in addition to that, the sun is moving through in the Milky Way, and I don't remember these speeds. It doesn't matter. It's like 500,000 miles a second or something like that, and the Milky Way is traveling through the infinitum of space. That's what they tell us. But now think for a minute, when you look up into the sky at the stars that you've been looking at since the day you were born, do you notice them changing as we whirl around the sun, as we travel? The 1,000 miles an hour doesn't come into play here because it does come around every night. But they're always the same. They have been for thousands of years. The stars in the sky don't change. And yet, they're the same in the summer months as they are in the winter months, when we're supposed to be on the opposite side of the sun, and we look up into the sky and we see the same stars in the sky. Do you find that at all a curious thing, that we can see the same stars? Do you find it at all a curious thing that we see the same stars year after year after year for thousands of years, if we're traveling and spinning and whirling through space? Isn't that a marvel? But what NASA tells us, well, the marvel is that space is that big, that even over thousands of years, you do not see any motion in the stars. You don't see them going by. In addition to that, though, there's no parallax. We don't see any parallax in the stars. Now you got to really say, wait a second. Even if it's as giant and the stars are millions and millions of light years away, how is it we don't see parallax between the stars? Are they all at exactly the same distance from each other when you see them going out into space? Are they all exactly the same? Well, they tell us no. They tell us no, they're millions and millions of light years apart. I mean, that distances that we can't comprehend. So that's enough for today. I'll keep this short. But we're twirling and whirling and spinning through space, and somehow we can't feel it, we can't detect it. Um, we just accept it because NASA said so. Um, anyway, go ahead and leave your comments below. Thanks.